took my husband home for our first Christmas together, I got so self-conscious about all the things that my family do at Christmas.
What do you do that's so...
Well, we have a set of bells that we sit round... We each have a different... Everybody... We've got a set of bells.
Yeah.
There's 8 bells.
Right, bells. How many of you?
Full octave.
Well, there's only 4 of us in my family.
Oh, 2 bells each?
Yeah.
Okay.
But then now my husband's joined.
Oh, no!
Yeah. No, that's good. That's another person, yeah.
Right.
That's another person. I'm glad you recognise him as such.
And then about 1987, my mum wrote out loads of Christmas songs on sort of boards with all the bell numbers.
Right.
And we just do that for about 2 or 3 days.
We had a similar thing. Mum and Dad's friends would all come over, like Sri Lankan friends. They would get drunk and then they would turn over, like, bins and stuff like that and then start banging on them and singing, like, old traditional Sri Lankan songs.
Is that true, Shanti? Is that true?
Yes, it's very true.
It's true. No?
You know,
Everything you say, Romesh. Yeah.
Confirmation, please. Keep from hell. Can we have confirmation that he's telling the truth?
I've got this horrible, judgmental Wikipedia sitting up.
Checking all your gags.
Yeah, well, that's true, Sandy. Don't worry, you can carry on with the anecdote. Off you go.
Someone from Holly's family going, there's a load of shit about the bells. There are 16 bells, you lying cow.
So, like, they would get, like, buckets and turn them over and then just, like, my dad would just be... like that for, like, hours.
Do you two live anywhere near each other?
Linked up, done a little tour, coffee and cream on the road. But then, one Christmas we did that, and then the next morning we took the blanket off the budgie cage and they were dead.
Had you beaten the birds to death?
No, they just didn't like Sri Lankan music.
I think your mum thinks that's not true. I've never had a budgie.
Just really racist budgies.
Finally, a question about macropods. How many legs does a kangaroo have?
Oh, don't say any numbers.
No.
Don't say any numbers.
Come on. You know my favourite bit in Toy Story?
Go on.
It's the dinosaur's got little arms, right?
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to see something terrible's happening. And he goes, somebody cover my eyes!
That is a brilliant moment.
In 2. Have it 2.
It won't be that. It won't be 0 or 4 either.
How many legs?
How many legs has it got?
2.5.
Well, you won't like this answer, but Simon Fraser University in Burnaby, Canada, corralled red kangaroos through a chamber which measured the downward forces in it. They discovered that kangaroos put their front legs on the ground and moved their back legs forwards, and at the same time they pushed their tail onto the floor and used it to propel themselves forward. The team found that the amount of force from the tail was as great as that from the other 4 limbs combined.
So it's 5.
Making it effectively a 5th leg. So not just a 5th leg, but the most important of the 5. Yeah, that's right.
There's a tail, though, isn't it? But it's not...
Well, it is a tail, but it's a kind of limb, isn't it?
Well, a limb. If you said limbs...
Hey, with the monkeys!
Yes, sir. 5.
No, you can't have that. Let's go with that. You can't have that.
Absolutely not. -5 for
only ever
rank standing
friend.
impertinence. The point is, you could cut off, not you should, obviously, a kangaroo's forearms or arms or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And it could get around perfectly happily, and you could cut off one of its rear legs, and even it could still hop and get around. But if you cut off its tail, it couldn't.
You'll be a sadistic bastard.
Which scientist conducted that experiment?
Kangaroos have almost 5 legs above average.
Let's go to Italy. So what did they do in Italy to stop people eating their lunches as picnics? So have a look here. This is, of course, the gorgeous Basilica of Santa Croce.
You don't want people having a picnic on the steps, do you?
No, I mean, what they want is for you to respect the place. This particular building is the place where you will find the burial place of Michelangelo, Galileo, Machiavelli, Rossini. It's like all this greatness of Italy, and they don't want people just eating sandwiches on the steps. So they had a really simple idea how to stop them doing this.
Was it they get the spooky voices of all those dead people
Go
on the
away.
loudspeaker?
Go away.
Stop eating sandwiches.
Hey, this is a Michelangelo. I see you enjoying the sandwich.
Why are you ruining the steps with your sandwich? You need to stop.
It's me, Rossini.
The winds are going to be crazy angry when you're eating a sandwich on the steppers.
None of these are spooky enough voices.
No.
Johnny.
Don't you want to see a film where Romesh plays Michelangelo? Fantastic.
I'm going to do a ceiling a picture.
This one is a god. This one is the Jesus. That one. He's good, huh?
Well, they did a really simple thing. They hosed down the steps.
Why are you having a picnic?
To stop people, they simply washed the steps.
With
and then-
water?
With water. And it stopped people from sitting down because
Because they're
yeah,
wet.
because they're wet. And they're very concerned about their buildings. Has anybody been to the Trevi Fountain in Rome? Mm-hmm. They have a whole squad of volunteer retired police officers guarding it because apparently people like to swim in it. So you can be fined for sitting on the fountains, for washing your feet in them, letting your pets play, water fights.
Thus far, I'm still hearing you can have a wee, no problem.
Yeah.
I went to Florence and I saw, by some miracle, there wasn't a queue, Michelangelo's statue of David.
It's a greater statue.
You can look all the way round behind. You're right behind, see everything.
It's got massive hands and tiny winky. That's how we do it.
I tell you who it is. It's Rossini. Don't tell anyone.
But what I was going to say was...
No, I think they've got more to do.
There's a replica of it outside.
Right.
And honestly, you can't tell the difference.
No.
So don't bother queuing up, going
I
in.
agree with that. The Christmas celebrations always end up in a fist fight.
My house.
Is it a fighting household, Danny?
It's the only day of the year where you can start drinking at breakfast, isn't it? Like without...
Unless you're from Denmark, in which case, hey...
Every time of year there's an intervention, but Christmas Day you're like, come on.
Yeah.
Let's have a bit of Baileys on your cornflakes or whatever.
See, it's funny because the Danes don't really have a tradition of that kind of fighting at Christmas. What we do is we do silent resentment. It's much more Nordic.
My brother and I are both married to white women. And at Christmas, my mum will invite us all round and then she'll do 2 dinners, like a roast and a curry. And then it just looks like we're encouraging racial segregation at Christmas.
Well, I'm going to find out if that's true because your mum's here in the audience. Shanti, hello, welcome to the show. Is there fighting at the holiday season? Is there fighting?
They do. They do fight.
Yeah.
They do fight. Yeah, both of it.
Well, my mum is... it's lovely to have you here, Mum. But she has encouraged my brother and I to both have very low self-esteem. That's contributed to it.
Well, there is a place in the world where people fight on Christmas Day and they do it on purpose. In Peru, a town called Santo Tomas. It's high up in the Peruvian Andes, 12,000 feet above sea level, and they have a tradition which is called Takanakui, and it happens on the 25th of December every year. People dress up in costumes, and then they have fist fights, and they take place between every kind of participant, between the young and the old, men and women, rich, poor, sober, quite a lot of drunk people. And the idea is they're settling all their differences that have occurred during the course of the year. And it can be anything. It could be a property dispute, it could be a spilled beer, it could be a stolen partner or sheep or whatever.
There's a cultural sort of outreach thing in Crawley where we sort of celebrate that as well. It's called Weatherspoons.
Is it legally binding?
Yes, it is legally binding.
Right.
Whoever wins, whatever the dispute was, that's it, they have to settle
So they
it.
do this on Christmas Day, but what do they do on Boxing Day?
It's good to have an element of panto in the show, which I like.
He's behind you. We got your career.
But the reason why we have family fights at Christmas, it's what's known as hyper-co-presence. The idea is that we're forced to spend long periods of time with people that we don't want to, and it's what Sigmund Freud called the narcissism of small differences.
We just have our own family Christmas now with just
Me and Katie and the 3 kids, and that is brilliant.
I thought my children, when they grew up, would go away, and what they've done is gone away and brought back other people I don't know. Who is offended by what?
Oh, God, everybody by everything.
Yes, well, there is that.
Anybody who reads a tweet and doesn't understand it immediately is offended by it.
Yeah. Do you tweet?
I do tweet, yeah,
Right.
I do. But I'm often scared to tweet about anything that's, you know, controversial.
So what do you do? Just the colour beige? Or
Basically,
just like emojis and like gifs of Japanese girls cutting hairs with crab hands.
Well, that's... the problem with Twitter is that even if you choose something like that you think is really innocent and can't be offensive, it can be. You know, you tweet about porridge and then somebody goes, well, actually, I had a porridge-related incident many years ago and actually I find it highly offensive and I can't believe you'd even not bother to consider the feelings of people that had ready break-related incidents in their childhood.
Is that then at 3 bears? Is that a sort of...
Yeah.
It's not Twitter related, so it's more to do with who?
Who is offended by what?
Yes.
Doctor offended by Daleks.
Doctor is the right area, but not Doctor Who.
Oh.
It is to do with doctors.
Oh, generally medical practitioners?
It is a large organisation, so if we think of it as an acronym...
World
Health Organisation.
World Health Organisation, absolutely right. They are worried that scientists are naming diseases that offend people, and that indeed we've done this too much in the past. So, for example, Spanish flu would be a good example. It affects people in Spain, possibly, and tourism. People might think if you go to Spain, you'll get Spanish flu. Legionnaire's disease is not a legionnaire in the world not been distressed by the thought.
Oh, I know one. Yeah. Essex wind. It's awful, isn't it, Phil?
Terrible. It blows right up your Thames corridor.
There's Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, which I imagine... I don't know who that would offend. People call Creutzfeldt. Jakob Creutzfeldt, I would imagine. Very swine flu, apparently. Very offensive to people who work with, I don't know, pigs.
Mrs. Swine.
Mrs. Swine
is upset about it.
Trying to the idea is you're supposed to minimise unnecessary distress. So, for example, if you call something sudden death syndrome, that's just too frightening.
Hold on a sec. If you're about to die imminently, you can't just say something cuddly so they're not offended. Do you know what I mean? If they're going to die in the next 20 minutes, you can't just go... You just got the chills.
Yeah.
Because you don't want them to be upset.
But here's the thing. So doctors have certain acronyms, and I love these. There's SBI, which is something bad inside, and it means the doctor knows there's something wrong, not entirely sure what it is. SVBI, something very bad inside. Again, don't know what it is, but it'll definitely kill you. And there's loads for fat people. There's CBT, which is chronic biscuit toxicity. The other best one for fat people is BW. What? Beached whale. Oh. And my favourite acronym, PRATFO. Patient reassured and told to F off.
The question about migration, I'm going to ask you all to take out a map that you should find beneath your desks.
Oh, yeah.
There you are. And you've got some drawing to do on the map. I want you to draw the extraordinary annual migration of the North American blue grouse as accurately as you can.
Right. So North America. OK, so anywhere then, not Alaska then. Is it Alaska?
The point is that I don't tell you.
Oh.
Until...
I've got a feeling that they want to get to another bit of North America, but they go the wrong way. And they end up going all the way around the world and landing on the other coast.
OK, I don't... There you go. Florida for the sun, and then to the Carnival in Rio, and then to Sydney.
By way of Cape Town, is it?
Yes.
So they go to all the Mardi Gras?
Well, they go all the Mardi Gras. They're just mad for it. And then up here, where there's like a cheese rolling in Britain, they like that. and then they're just knackered, and the ones that are still alive, back home.
It's a fantastic route.
I just think that sort of they go just have a sort of a trip round South America, just have a look.
Yeah.
You know, might as well make a day of it.
I reckon they go about a mile to the next village.
Yeah.
Well, but I think what happens is they sort of start off and they sort of overshoot and they end up going completely... not hitting any landmass at all. And they go, we'll give it one more go. And they end up in Colchester. They've got no idea. But for millennia, they've ended up in Colchester.
And yours, Show the ladies and gentlemen.
You see, they're just... no point being...
Oh, dear. Well, wouldn't it be funny if you were
You're
right?
trying not to smile.
No,
You're trying not to.
I don't want to look at it.
You like it.
Don't like it. I don't like it. Do I like these? Do I like these? I don't like these.
It's funny.
I don't like it.
OK,
I don't like it.
stop that. OK. Incredibly, closest to the truth was Alan. In your drawing, but
My
in a
first
remark
idea that they leave America, go around the world and land in America again.
No, in the remark you just made to Bill.
What?
I reckon they just...
Go about a mile to the next village.
Yes! It's even less than that. Its extraordinary migration is 300 yards.
I never thought of them packing their cases.
But it's true.
Leaving a
Oh,
note
we're
for the
nearly there,
milkman.
yeah. Oh, we're nearly there.
Unplug the telly.
Every spring it goes down to its breeding grounds, and then in the autumn it schleps all the way back up the hill again. And that's
is.
It's
Does it take a long time?
on foot, by the way, not even flying it.
I mean, they are massive, aren't they, based on those footprints?
Enormous.
What do you think is the fattest animal in the world?
Why did you look at me when you asked that question?
Are you talking about body fat percentage or actually amount of fat?
Yeah, body fat percentage.
Oh, well, that could be a tortoise, because they hibernate. That's it.
Yeah, but they don't hibernate, turns out.
Don't they?
So for years, people were putting them in boxes and put them in the cupboard under the stairs, and they were just in solitary confinement.
No, it's called an army cutworm moth. And they can achieve 72% body fat. It makes them the fattest animals on Earth, and they live in Yellowstone National Park, so it's not always cold there, but they do get themselves ready for the winter and store up the body fat, and then the bears eat them.
What, the bears eat them while they're hibernating?
They gorge on them just before winter sets in, so one bear can eat up to 40,000 moths in a day. So each moth is about 1 inch or 2 inches long, and each one is about half a calorie.
That'd be a much more sinister John Lewis Christmas ad, wouldn't it? Just a bear feasting on tubby moths.
Yeah. Thousands of them.
They eat loads and lots of nectar from wild flowers. They're known as miller moths, that's their nickname, because the fine scales in its wings, it rubs off easily. It reminds people of the dusty flower covering on a miller. But you can see them in Yellowstone National Park. Yes, boo-boo. Hey, boo-boo.
I always thought Yogi and Boo Boo were the right pair of pricks. Like, do you know, they're supposed to be the heroes. It's just little thieves, just going around robbing, and then we're supposed to support them. You're out of order.
Idle thieves. A lot of American humour's about that. Shucksters and shysters and idle thieves. So they all like it. They kind of revere that person who doesn't get a proper job but gets by. So
Yeah,
they love a criminal.
They voted one in, didn't they?
Yes.
I'm a political satirist now. I'm going to just stay here until it's news night.
And where did we get to? Picnic baskets. Picnic basket?
Thief! In the first episode, someone could have just come and shot them.
Boo-boo, it's getting dark. I'm losing blood, Boo-boo. I don't think I'm gonna make it, Boo-boo. I can see a great big picnic basket in the sky, Boo-boo.
Wow.
Next week, funeral.
I wish you two were in charge of children's BBC. Speaking of football, Alan, Romesh, who is the most successful Arsenal manager of all time?
Is it me?
I want it to be you.
No, that's Bertie me. He was one of your most famous managers, wasn't he?
Well, in terms of winning trophies, it's Arsene Wenger.
Do you follow football,
Not at all, but I'm willing to participate in this conversation.
OK.
Say George
Timothy...
Graham. Say George Graham.
George Timothy Graham.
Rachel? It's not George Graham.
Herbert Chapman.
Steffi Graf.
Weirdly, Rachel is heading closer to the correct answer than anybody.
What?
Really?
I know.
Martina Navratilova.
Serena
Williams.
It is women that we are...
Vic Akers.
It is Vic Akers, absolutely right, who founded the Arsenal Ladies Football Club. He managed it till retirement in 2009. Under his management, the ladies' team won 32 major honours, including the FA Women's Cup 10 times, as opposed to Arsene Wenger's management, where the men's team has won 7 FA Cup titles.
Vic Akers is the kit man for the men's team, and he always wears shorts no matter what the weather. So on my podcast, we refer to his genitals as Little Vic and the Acres. He's greatly loved, Vic.
Well, what a fantastic track record. I mean, 32.
Astonishing. It's I mean, at the time, hardly anyone else played women's football, must be said.
Well, there was a time in the 1920s when there were 150 women's football teams in England, and they could draw bigger crowds than the men's teams. The reason it all fell apart was the FA stopped women playing on Football Association pitches.
This team is Where's Wally FC?
This team is actually the Dick Kerr's ladies' team. They were named after the munitions factory where most of them worked. They were the first women's team to ever play in shorts. And my favourite player was a woman called Lily Parr. And apparently she was astonishing, but she was also a chain smoker, and she insisted...
Look at the length of that cigarette. Yes.
She insisted part of her wages was in Woodbine cigarettes. And sometimes she was known to play while still smoking. Right, back to the great outdoors now. Here's a question about pests. What is the best way to keep those pesky wasps at bay?
A jar of something that they like, and then they go to it.
To kill them or to just trap them?
Well, if they get stuck in there, not much you can do.
Wasp gun? I don't know.
A wasp gun is a gun that fires wasps, isn't it? You're just adding to the problem, aren't you? Just generating more and more of them.
Fires them a long way away, Romesh.
Makes them angry, though, and when they come back... It's like that joke about the bloke who throws a snail off his front step. And then 3 days later, the doorbell goes. And the snail goes, what?
So, the best way to keep a wasp away from the picnic, they send out scouts for the wasps to go and see where the best food is. If you see the first couple, take them hostage.
Oh, OK.
Yeah. If you trap them, they cannot report back to the nest about the food source, but if you kill them, they can release a pheromone, and the other wasps go, what? What's going on? What's going on? They get the pheromone.
Yeah,
smell.
they go, can anyone else smell Dave?
Yeah. But you shouldn't kill wasps at all.
That's really good. So just keep them, catch them, and that's it.
Because they do some fantastic good work.
Do they?
Yeah,
yes.
I doubt that very much.
I hate them.
OK, so here's the thing that you may not know. So social wasps eat cockroaches and spiders. There is a woman whose Twitter handle is @waspwoman, Dr. Serian Sumner. She estimates they eat 14 million kilograms of insects per year in the UK.
Each?
No, not each.
Oh,
No.
right.
No. As a team effort.
Oh, OK.
Yeah. Thank you all, Alan.
Yo.
Romesh.
Yo.
Who is the most successful Arsenal manager of all time?
Is it me?
I want it to be you.
No, that's Bertie me. He was one of your most famous managers, wasn't he?
Well, in terms of winning trophies, it's Arsene Wenger.
Do you follow football,
Not at all, but I'm willing to participate in this conversation.
OK.
Timothy...
Say George Graham.
George Timothy Graham.
Rachel? It's not George Graham.
Herbert Chapman.
Steffi Graf.
Weirdly, Rachel is heading closer to the correct answer than anybody.
What? Really?
I know.
Martina Navratilova.
Serena
Williams.
It is women that we are...
Vic Akers.
It is Vic Akers, absolutely right, who founded the Arsenal Ladies Football Club. He managed it till retirement in 2009. Under his management, the ladies' team won 32 major honours, including the FA Women's Cup 10 times, as opposed to Arsene Wenger's management, where the men's team has won 7 FA Cup titles.
Vic Akers is the kit man for the men's team, and he always wears shorts no matter what the weather. So on my podcast, we refer to his genitals as Little Vic and the Acres. He's greatly loved, Vic.
Well, what a fantastic track record. I mean, 32.
Astonishing. It's
major
I mean, at
titles.
the time, hardly anyone else played women's football, must be said.
Well, there was a time in the 1920s when there were 150 women's football teams in England, and they could draw bigger crowds than the men's teams. The reason it all fell apart was the FA stopped women playing on Football Association pitches.
This team is Where's Wally FC?
This team is actually the Dick Kerr's ladies' team. They were named after the munitions factory where most of them worked. They were the first women's team to ever play in shorts. And my favourite player was a woman called Lily Parr. And apparently she was astonishing, but she was also a chain smoker, and she insisted...
Look at the length of that cigarette.
She insisted part of her wages was in Woodbine cigarettes. And sometimes she was known to play while still smoking.